Well, let me welcome everybody here. I think we're starting on time. My name is Ty Norris. I'm Executive Vice President, General Manager of Michael Waltrip Racing. And there are a few times in a young company's history that you can look back on it and say there are days that sort of changed it. And we believe that today's announcement is one of those moments for our young organization. Before we get into the meat of the press conference, I wanted to recognize and thank a few people that had so much influence on helping us actually get here today. And representing Toyota, I want to recognize Lee White, Dave Wilson, Les Unger, Don Johnson, saw Andy Graves here, and a gentleman who's not here but has been a huge part of MWR since it's in the last few years is Ed Laukus. Ed got promoted to a vice president role and he's in California, and he doesn't get to come to the races as much, but without Ed and Lee and Dave and all those guys, we wouldn't be able to stand here and do what we're doing today. Another person I want to recognize is Alan Miller, who was very instrumental in helping us get together with Clint and Casey Bowyer. And then I want to personally thank two gentlemen who I worked with for the last month or month and a half, and that's Casey Bowyer and Chad Clark, and just in having very nice, transparent conversations, be able to get to today. Up here at the podium, I want to introduce Scott Henderson, the president of 5 Hour Energy, Risa McGuire, who is the vice president of sales, and the great story about Risa is at that organization she is employee number 3, and so we're so happy that she's such a big part of this. And obviously, you guys know Clint and Michael. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Michael to make the formal announcement.
I want to echo those thanks, Ty. There took a lot of people to be able to sit in front of you guys today, and I want to include Bob Carter, who's with Toyota, runs Toyota, and he wanted Clint to drive for us really badly, and he helped us to get that done. Lee White was maybe the coolest. He just came up to me and said, "You need to get this done. This will change your company." And Lee's a racer, and he knows that that this dude sitting to my right can go out there and win the championship. And to get him on board, to add a third team, to get a new sponsor in 5 Hour, this is just a great day for Michael Waltrip Racing. My foundation of MWR is this guy, Ty, and also Bobby Kennedy. They've been there with me. They've been with me in some form or another for the last 12 years. And they've really helped me do some fun things. When it was time to go try to get Martin, Ty stepped up and helped us get that done. The same thing with Clint. And so thank you, Ty, for all that you do for the company. Looking so much forward to racing our cars in 2012 with Clint, and hopefully racing for a championship. Thanks again to everybody that helped get this done. And did you say I was the worst driver ever? or did you mean like during that era?
You know, you never know when you're going to have to eat those words, and I'm going to say today's the day, but he promised me he'd be the best owner ever. But, it's a big day for me. Obviously, I've been with RCR since day one. Owe a lot to Richard, but, it's time to move on. Today's the day. Very, very excited and proud to be associated with 5 Hour. From day one, from meeting these folks, it's just my kind of people. I think it was a great fit. I think it's going to be a great fit for Michael and his organization. Working with Ty, I'm going to echo a little bit of Michael's comments. Ty's been influential to make this thing happen. He's worked hard. One of the hardest working guys. Obviously, everybody knows I've been talking and working real hard on where I was going to be in my future. And he had to schedule to see Ty because he was out of town.
That's a lot.
He was digging, and that makes you excited. That's why they've been able to keep the sponsors they have over the years. So on my side, like I said, it's all about the future. The future's bright. I'm looking forward to a good relationship with MWR, with Toyota. Everybody involved. I think it's going to be a good time.
This is a huge, huge day for 5 Hour Energy. If you would have asked me 5-6 years ago if our brand ever would get to the point where we could be taking part in Sprint Cup racing with NASCAR, the premier sporting event and filled with premier brands. We're really happy to be here. And when we decided to make the move up from Nationwide, we thought really long and hard because this is a huge investment for us. And we looked around and we talked to drivers and we settled on Clint because he's a big supporter of our brand. And he's just got a pretty good personality, too, from what we've seen and what we've heard. And then it came time to find the right team. And we looked around again. That was the second go-around. I've been in Charlotte a lot. We've been flying down there quite frequently. And we were fortunate enough to meet the Michael Waltrip Racing team. And they really fit in with what we're trying to do. We're young, we're fast, we're very retail and marketing oriented, and they get the marketing piece. And we're trying to take it to the next level. And I talked to Michael and Rob Kaufman before we did this deal, and they're totally committed to taking the race team to the next level. And we're looking forward to 2012 and winning some races.
The best thing about Scott and Risa and the whole 5-hour group is they're entrepreneurial. You know, they showed up and they've got a product that they put on the map in a short period of time. And I'm passionate about taking care of my sponsors and helping them to sell more product. And I just love the way you guys go about things. I love your energy.
It works.
That was kind of an accident, but I do. And I really look forward to Clint being on the racetrack and me being able to help you guys with your goals as far as selling more 5-hour.
All right.
What do you think?
I'm just excited to be here, Michael. This is just awesome with Clint and Michael and our brand and their brand. It's a day I've been hoping to come for a long time and thought never would, so I'm very excited for all of us.
Reese is probably the biggest asset we have, you know, for 5 hours. She's a race fan at heart. She understands the industry. She works hard at it. She's here day in and day out. Chad Clark is also the day in and day out guy. But, you know, once I met Reese, this was the sponsor for me. I mean, she's obviously energetic. She's a perfect fit for 5-hour energy shot. And, you know, it's been a lot of fun so far. I just can't wait to go on through the years with these folks.
At this point, we're going to go ahead and open it up to some questions, and we do have a pretty good amount of time. So, Claire.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Clint, talk about Scott Miller coming, what part of the package that was, and why, in the end, aside from the sponsor, which seems a good fit, that you chose this organization.
Well, you know, you've obviously you have decisions to make. You go around and you talk to teams. You know, I see a young, aggressive team, a great backing with Toyota behind them, you know, in a down market. I see you know, a young, energetic sponsor in the same boat. You know, both of them are pushing forward. They're spending, and I see this as an opportunity to catch up. You know, period. I think that there's no question MWR has done a great job with marketing for their sponsors and you know, keeping sponsors better than anybody in the garage area. You know, I see their performance improving, you know, week in and week out. You know, I had to work my butt off to make sure I was on top of them before I walked into this you know, deal here. But you know, I just see this as a wonderful opportunity for me to prove, you know, myself to everybody. I mean, when you go at a RCR that was already, you know, won many championships and have the success Richard's had, you're just kind of you know, another guy there. You know, if we can go on and put them in the chase and continue to move forward with MWR, you know, you're going to build your brand even better. Yeah, and Scott Miller is a great friend. You know, obviously, as soon as I heard that they were talking to Scott Miller, you know, it definitely tripped my trigger. He's a go-getter, influential in everything that's happened at RCR, and I know that he's going to be a great asset for MWR. Just a great guy, a good leader, and all-around good person to be around.
Yeah, Claire, one of the things is Michael and I would spend some time with Clint and would say, Clint, we just did this in the wind tunnel. These are some of the things we've been doing. And he goes, yeah, I already know. I'm like, really? He said, well, okay, here's what's going on in the inside. Yeah, I already know. I've done my research. I've worked harder on finding out more about you guys than anything I've ever done in my life. So he spent a lot of time doing research this summer. Lewis?
NASCAR teams don't have number 1, 2, 3
Sorry.
drivers. Yeah. Lewis Frank. NASCAR teams don't have number 1, 2, 3 drivers. But Clint brings in his records are the most accomplished So how do you align your teams along in now that you've brought him there?
We have plates in the fab shop that a tractor trailer comes in the back gate and unloads metal, and they shoot cars out the other end. And those cars are built for each one of the teams. It's up to Clint, his crew chief, and his guys to tune that car and let him go out on the racetrack and do what he's done so well the last few years. So there just isn't any reason for it. You know, we are very passionate about Napa and Martin, the same way about Aaron's and David, and we'll have that same excitement and passion for Clint. There just isn't any need for it. You know, you've got great teams and great assets, and they all push together, and hopefully success comes out the other end.
I'm sorry. Bob, go ahead.
Bob Pock, Christine Daly for Clint. On Media Day in February, we asked you if you were a free agent, and you pretty much were like, "Nah, I'm staying at RCR." When did you kind of get the feeling that you wouldn't be staying at RCR? And what can you talk about leaving the place you've run every Cup race, 210 Cup races at?
Well, I'd say that day came when we went and talked to them about the 5-hour deal, and they still couldn't put a deal together. So I said, well, all right, we'll go somewhere else. And, that's probably what ultimately led to leaving, RCR. But, going back to, I've never been a guy that needs to be the number one guy, or second tier, anything else. I think that's what kills organizations is when you're racing within the organization. You've got to be able to pull on the rope in the same direction, and if you're not, you can't move forward. So I just, want to be able to be an asset, to help out and move forward in building this thing. I mean, that's everybody knows. We've got room to improve, and I look forward to the opportunity to try to make it happen.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. Go ahead. You're closer.
David Caravella,
Go ahead.
NASCAR.com. Michael, with the pieces you've put together for next year, realistically, I mean, what do you think the organization's capable of now? I mean, does Chase become sort of the number one thing on your radar screen at this point for next year? Or?
Yeah, it was the number one thing on our radar screen when we started this year. We felt like we had built our company. We won races the last couple of years, and we had built our organization to a point where we could contend for Chase spots. Toyota really stepped up in 2011 with our engines. We've been very fortunate with the way they performed, but we just didn't get the job done. And there was a bit of a change in direction with the team around about February or March on how we were going to go forward, leaning more heavily on Andy Graves and Dave and all the good folks at Toyota to help us build our cars more competitively. So we now believe we're structured exactly how we want to be. We have a guy in Scott Miller who's going to come on board and has guided teams to the chase and chances to win championships. He is going to be a key part of our organization into 2012. And having drivers like Clint, David, and Martin, I mean, we're poised. We're on the edge of being able to go accomplish that. Our cars are solid here. Clint outrun them both, which is cool, but our cars are right up near the top of the scoring pylon, and we feel like that'll be something you'll see a whole lot in 2012, and that's based on the people that we put together and the organization that we're building.
Yeah.
Jeff Gluck from SBNation.com. Clint, when did the 5-hour energy relationship first start with you? I mean, obviously you've had them.
3 months. Yeah.
When?
3 months ago.
Yeah, it's probably about 3 months ago. And, that was the biggest thing, going back to what led to the decision to go to Michael Waltrip. I've never been in that situation. Never had a sponsor that came to me and said, we would like to have you. We want you. You're the asset. Where are we going to go to build a program? So not only was I looking out for myself, now I'm looking out for a sponsor too. I've got to go to an organization where I can continue to build their brand and make sure that I can continue to bring that sponsor with me as I go on through the years. And so that was something that was new to me. Usually, you took care of number one and let them do their business. But I felt like I was obligated to help them make the right decision and be influential in their decision as well. So, like I said, they take care of their sponsors. Even from back when they first started and wasn't making races, they kept those sponsors even today. So, if you can have that combination and get the performance right on the racetrack, you're going to have a deadly combination.
He's had his hand up like 4 times.
Hi, Randy Kovitz, Kansas
Poor
City
girl.
Star. Couple quick things. Michael, do we have a crew chief?
Yeah,
Is
we'll
that
have one.
announced?
No.
That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking.
We need one of those?
No, we
You guys are all about announcements.
Yeah.
we don't have that part yet.
Okay, Clint, something about black and gold, from Jack Daniels to Cheerios to this.
Yeah, well, it was a huge transition from Jack Daniels to Cheerios, as you can imagine. A lot better this time around. Yeah, I can handle this one. It was an adjustment the last time.
Well, I guess my question is, you were talking about going from nationwide to Cup. I mean, that's a huge leap in faith in Clint, and I guess in this company. Can you guys?
So we looked around and we wanted to find a driver that fit our brand, and it had to be somebody that was passionate about our product. That's key for us because we don't want this to be false advertising or fake advertising. And, we met with Clint. He's a big 5-hour supporter, consumer, and it just was a natural. It was one of those things. We met him and said this is the guy, and then we thought we'd put together a deal pretty quickly. It was kind of interesting to be walking around Charlotte with a lot of money to spend, and a lot of people didn't seem to want our money. So we finally found the right place.
How did you know he was How did you know he used 5-hour energy? How would you know that?
Because he told us, we saw him, and he clearly is very energetic. So.
And finally, one last thing. I see 5-hour energy. I see those red containers. Are you changing your color scheme? Yeah.
We got black. Actually, red, black, and the yellow oranges is part of our color scheme.
We're going to show you our car in a minute. It's beautiful.
Nick Bromberg, Yahoo Sports. Clint, you mentioned that you took 5-hour to RCR. What were some of the stumbling blocks that you couldn't get a deal done with RCR versus getting a deal done with Michael Waltrip?
Nah, I don't know. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the future, and it just didn't work out. It's a shame. Like I said, owed a great deal to Richard. It wasn't just a few miles down the road. I was standing in a body shop when that man called me. Never forget that day, and owe a lot to him for that, but also owe him this opportunity as well.
Sam Wilson, Emporia Gazette. Clint, if you could just talk about what it means to you to be able to have this announcement in your home state.
Yeah, it was big. We were trying to talk. Risa, my race fan, she's like, well, we got to announce this right now. Well, let's wait for Kansas to be big. And, that was miserable a few weeks having to hold you guys off. And the vultures were out wanting to know. They wanted the first story, and you guys are doing your job. But, oh, my God. It makes it to where you don't even want to come out of the motorhome. Then sprint to the car and get in, put your helmet on real quick.
One thing about that is it's one thing to say we're going to do it and then get the contract done. So just so we're not trying to hide behind being coy or anything, we literally didn't get everything signed until last Sunday. We got Clint's contract last Sunday. We've got Scott Risa's 5 hours contract last Wednesday night. So when we said we didn't have anything done, we weren't joking. So just know we weren't trying to be coy.
Reed Spencer from Sporting News. For whoever wants to take this one, is this a full season deal? Is there still inventory left on the car? And for Clint, how do you feel about driving the number 15 given the history with that car in the series?
It's a 24 race deal. There's space available. Want to talk about that?
Yeah, we have 12 races or something like that. 24 and 12, 36, or
Yes. All day.
From Kentucky.
He did go to University of Kentucky. He said he went to a couple parties there.
I didn't enroll. But we look forward to this announcement becoming public knowledge so that we can begin the pursuit to put some more folks on the car with Clint. Obviously, you guys really have taken a liking to Clint. He does a great job telling the story. He's very energetic. I just love the way he goes about conducting himself, and hopefully that will allow us to sign up some more sponsors to fill out the car. But with we're set to run the 00 with Aaron's and the 15 with Clint and the 56 with Martin. Ty's got some more stuff he's got to sell.
Got to get back on the road.
Yeah. The 15 was just, there was some options they threw out there, and I just like the 15, obviously, I'm a racer. I want to be closer to number one than 100. It was obviously good to Michael. I'm big on Daytona. That's one of my favorite racetracks, and that number was pretty good to him there. So hopefully we can get us one of these days.
Yeah, it was fun for me because the conversation with Clint about a number was a whole lot like it was with Dale back in 2000 when he hired me to drive his car. He said he had 16 on Hornaday's truck, and he said, "You want to be 16?" I said, "I don't really like 16." I said, "Didn't you win in Bud Moore's car?" He said, "Yeah, 15." I said, "I like that." He said, "Okay, we'll be 15 then." So that decision was made like that, and this one was the same way. Clint's like, 15's cool.
We almost went with 79.
Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest thing I was hung up on, when you put a number on a dirt car, it looks stupid if it's leaning forward. I like it leaning backwards. I had to slick that thing up a little bit. It resembled too much of the old days.
We're going to do one more, and Drew, come up here while he's asking. One more? Right here? Yeah. I'm sorry.
Clint, Scott Traylor, Racing Boys. Congratulations. Your success, you've had a lot of great success over the years, but, you mentioned Casey coming on board and kind of helping you with your management team and everything now. What's that mean to have your brother and your family in your back pocket helping you along the way?
Well, I mean, when this all started, it was, family, and it's that way today. It's very important to me to have my family here. They're all sitting right there, and it's just the way it's always been. So even Grandma showed up, so thank you. But, just like I said, another big day, another big stepping stone for myself and our family, and we'll go on down the road and have a lot more fun.
Yeah, Casey did a great job, too, working with Ty and figuring all this out. I really respected his position and how he handled himself.
We got everything done, and I said, "Hey, I forgot to ask you about something, Casey." I said, "What about Pops?" He goes, "That's a whole other provision to the contract. We'll talk about that later." so anyway, can't wait. Pops, we're going to negotiate after this for motorhome spots and all that stuff. So, okay, we hate to cut it short. We are going to do one-on-ones after this, but we have an unveiling. We have to do it at 2:30 on ESPN, so we're going to head outside to do this unveiling, and then we'll do one-on-ones right after that until Clint has to take off. Is that right, Drew? Is that right? Okay.